Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to do a tier list ranking all of the DLC bosses from Shadow of the Erdtree, Elden Ring. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while and just haven't had the time to do it. And the DLC's been out for a while. I've beaten most of the bosses. I'm looking at this and there's quite a few on here that I could see that I haven't faced yet. So without further ado, we're going to jump right in it. This is my own list, so if you guys have a little bit different ranking, that's totally fine. Everyone's opinions are different. I'm just gonna rank them on how difficult it was for me. And talking with a few of my friends, like, we all have struggled with different bosses a little bit differently. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the ranking. This is my ranking of which bosses were the hardest to easiest in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. So the first up, we have the Ancient Dragon Man. This one, he had that move. He has the one that has like the ancient dragon katana. He had that one move that would basically just insta-kill me. So it did take me a few tries to beat it, but I wouldn't say it was too difficult. Let's see, we have most difficult, very difficult, difficult, average, easy, very easy. You know, we're gonna change this last one to not fought. We'll just do, we'll do, NF for not faced or not fought. So Ancient Dragon Man, if I'm being honest, I didn't think he was that hard. I did die to him like 2 or 3 times, but once you kind of figure out how to dodge that move, I wouldn't say it's too hard. So I think falls in the easy category. Ancient Dragon Sinisax. Now Sinisax is very much like all of the other dragons in Elden Ring, all the dragon fights minus like a few, and they all are just track the back leg and smack the back leg. So I'm gonna say, for the most part, I'd probably put it average, just because he does have a ton of just AoE lightning stuff. I wouldn't say it's particularly hard. It did take me a few tries to finally get him, but I wouldn't say it was too bad. Now, Baal the Dread. Baal the Dread did take me quite a few tries, and it was insane. I was actually stuck on him for, I wouldn't say a long time. I would say he's probably, I wouldn't say he's the most difficult. I'll put him in very difficult. Very difficult, difficult. That's kind of, I guess, A or B. Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good spot for him, right? I might change that. I might put him down to difficult, just because I didn't think he was like super hard, but it was quite fun. I did die quite a few times, so we'll just put him right there for right now. Black Knight Erdtree. He's the guy that's got the where you get the wings from, I believe, or it's one of these two. I forget which one. I want to say it's this one. Honestly, not super hard at all. I kind of ran into him a little bit later, so they do hit like freaking trucks, but I was able to just beat him first try. Same with this one. I think this is the one that does like where he like shoots, he's got like the frog tongue, and he'll shoot like the frog tongue out at you. Not super hard. I beat both of these dudes first try. Actually, this dude, the frog dude, fell down to the pit when he had a little bit of health left, and he actually fell down and died, so even easier doing him. Black Gale Knight, or Black Jail Knight. I've been saying it Black Gale Knight, but I would say he's probably average. I think he's a good starter boss fight, kind of like in the base game, where it kind of introduces you to how the DLC is going to go. He's like that first boss you meet right off to the left side. I think he's not super hard. I think people just go in and were expecting their god tier builds to just demolish everything, and they found out really quickly that that's not how this game was going to work. And so, it did take me quite a few tries, but once you figure out his moveset, you can kind of bait him to do the crossbow attack, and you can kind of strafe to the side and get quite a few good hits on him. Chief Bloodfiend. I am gonna say I struggle with this one quite a bit, just because there's a ton of those the Bloodfiend dudes in there with him. And I don't know if it was just me being impatient or greedy, but I died quite a few times to finally take him out. Just because there's so many enemies right there at the start that you have to do to take him out first. And now we're getting into Commander Gaius. Commander Gaius was definitely one of the harder boss fights for me. He's got hitboxes the size of flippin' freight trains, so yeah, I died more times than I care to admit on him. That initial charge attack, I said this in my actual review of Shadow of the Erdtree, but man, that initial like blitzing at the beginning was just so hard to dodge, and every time I did manage to finally like not get hit by it, I couldn't duplicate it. It was almost like a fluke. So definitely very hard, but at the same time I did enjoy the fight. I think I enjoyed actually all of these fights. There's only 2 fights that I was kind of like, after beating it, I was like, that wasn't really as fun as I hoped it would be. Count Ymir, I think that he was pretty easy. I still beat him. I'd probably put him over here. Actually, I'll put these guys up here because I would say that they are difficult, but this one gave me literally no trouble at all. You fight like the NPC summon right before, and then you fight him. His was kind of confusing because it's like he wants you to do all like the fingerprint stuff, and you're literally doing what he wants you to, and then you kill the fingerprint chick, and then he's like, yo, I'm mad now, kind of thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that one was too hard. Curse Blade Labyrinth. I think this is the one that... I think this is... I'm looking at it. I think this is the one where they turn the whole thing invisible. It's the one with the chick with the blades. I'm gonna put very easy just because I beat this dude so fast. I was running a bleed build earlier in my playthrough, and I was just able to take this thing out super quickly. I don't really even remember all the moves. I just remember they turned the arena black, and then next thing you know, it's kind of gone. The Dancer also I probably up here. I think I died maybe once, but other than that, it wasn't too difficult. Now we have the Black Knight version 1 and Black Knight version 2. I have only run into one of these, and I'm not sure which one it is, because this one looks like he's got the Death Blight maybe, and this one's got Lightning. I definitely had Lightning, but he had like that ability where he could grab you and basically steal your health to heal himself. So I'm not sure which one that is. It kind of looks like this one, but if I'm being honest, he was a little bit difficult, if I'm being honest. I kept getting grabbed by that grab attack. I'm gonna put this one here as not fought. So I don't know, I could have those versions flipped around, but I fought one of them for sure, and it took me quite a few tries. But yeah, and he does that thing where if you try to summon, he'll just blast you with lightning the second you walk in. The Death Right Bird, this one is just like all the other, it's just the same boss as the beginning. I would say, I wouldn't say it's hard, he's just more annoying than anything. Trying to lock onto his feet or his head, and he just does a bunch of attacks. Now the Demi-Human Queen, I haven't found that one yet, so I'll put that one as not fought. But I did fight this Demi-Human one. As far as like difficulty goes, I would say he was super easy. I think he's a cool boss fight. He kind of did like a bunch of like little flippy things. Kind of actually reminded me of like the Yoda from episode 2, where he's just kind of flipping around the whole time. But not super hard. I think I beat him fairly quickly. I think it was only one try. Now, the Divine Beast. Let me look here really quick. Divine Beast. So they don't have the second Divine Beast. Interesting. I thought they would have had the second one on here. So there's 2. So if I'm gonna go with the first one, I think the first one was, I would say he's probably average difficulty for a From Software game. Took me a few tries, but nothing crazy. I do think, so we'll change it here just to reiterate. So the first Divine Beast, there's 2 of them. The first one has like the lightning, and he has like a wind attack that he does. I would say that one's average, right? Now, when you finally find the second Divine Beast, I think the second Divine Beast is definitely a more difficult fight. Instead of lightning and the wind attack, he has Death Blight, so he does the death blight everywhere, and he summons a bunch of those like death blight frogs that chase you. You know what I'm talking about from the base game. They jump and then they just like burp all of the death blight on you. So you have to take out all of those while at the same time trying to fight this guy, and he can just blast you with death blight. So I died quite a few times trying to defeat him, and he swaps out the lightning for a frost ability. Not super strong. At least I never really got hit by it, but that death blight was something that was really hard to face. So Divine Beast, first Divine Beast that you encounter, the Remembrance one, here. Second one, I would say definitely is more difficult. Falling Beast, I actually never found this one, so I'll put them here. The Furnace Golems, I would say that, if I'm being honest, I would say that they're in difficulty. They aren't, like, the fights aren't super hard, they're just incredibly, like, grindy, and you can get on Torrent, but if Torrent hits, like, twice, then you're just dead, so it did take me quite a while before I could finally take down my first one. I have not beaten all of the Furnace Golems. After killing, like, 2 or 3, I was just kind of like, okay, I get it, you know. And there's that one area that there's, like, 2 or 3 of them, and you throw the pot into one of them, so that's, yeah. I would say that they're a little bit difficult. As far as like, actually now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably do these based on their thing. So out of all these ones, I think that the Death Blight Divine Beast was harder than all of these. Yeah, I would probably go this one, Death Blight. I think he was a little bit harder than this one. This one was just kind of, like I said, the Chief Blood Fiend was just me going in, not being super patient, and was just trying to blast through them. And so I think, like, when I finally focused on it, and I was like, okay, we got to stop just rushing in like that, I was able to beat it no problem. Ghost Flame version 1, I would say it's same as all the other dragon fights. Not super hard. They have all the same movesets. They just, instead of fire or, you know, frost or whatever it is, they have the Ghost Flame. So second one, I'm gonna put in the same one too. I didn't think either of them. He's just a much bigger dragon, so it was a little bit harder. Like, he's got a big health pool, but I would say that for me personally, they're about the same. Golden Hippo. I heard a lot of people had issues with this one. I think that he was probably like average. I don't think he was super hard. It took me just a few tries to beat him. He does do that grab attack, which is insane. I died quite a few times to that stupid grab attack, but overall I don't think that it was particularly hard. Just like the hitbox for that, or the hitbox animation or whatever, grab animation, was kind of nuts. Jagged Peak Drake. I'm gonna put this along with all the other dragons. I don't think any of the dragons particularly are hard. Bale for sure was much harder. He had a much more variety of moveset. Locking just on his leg was just not a thing. Same with these ones. You could just kind of lock on their leg and strafe around them. I didn't think it was that hard. Lamenter, I don't think he was also, you know what? I'm not sure on this one. I did die a few times to it, but I can't remember exactly. He's like the dragon-looking dude. Yeah, I guess we'll put him right there. Mesmer the Impaler. Mesmer the Impaler was definitely difficult for me. I think he was more difficult than Commander Gaius for sure. And I said this a little bit in my review of Shadow of the Erdtree. So Mesmer I ran into incredibly early. I ran into him probably much earlier than the game probably wanted you to. I just was kind of doing my own thing, and then next thing I know, I'm running into this here. And so also I didn't have all of the Shadow Tree fragments, so there was that. Whereas, like, you know, something towards the end of the game where I had more, like some of the bosses later in the game weren't nearly as challenging for me, when I think they probably would have for most people, mainly just because I had a lot more Shadow Tree fragments, I had a better build, more things were leveled up, stuff like that. But Mesmer was super early, and even after collecting a few levels in the Shadow Tree fragment, he still gave me quite a difficult time for sure. Next up, Meter, Mother of the Fingers. This is one of the fights that I think lore-wise was super cool, but fight-wise I was just kind of like, eh. I didn't really enjoy the fight all that much. A lot of AoE crap. Hard to get closer to the boss when you do. Like, I do like that it's kind of, she has attacks that you can get attacked from at all angles. You get behind her, she smacks you with the tail. You get on the side, she attacks you with the fingers. You get in the front, she spits like the venom or whatever that is at you. So a more annoying fight. I think that it was actually kind of difficult. It did take me quite a few tries to finally beat her. I do think that they're probably harder than all these other ones here. At least I struggled with more. Next up is Midra, Lord of the Frenzy Flame. I think he was incredibly easy. I think he's probably, like, if we're going to go on which fights I enjoy the most, which I probably will make a video on that sometime in the future, I think Midra was one of the best fights, in my opinion. But as far as like difficulty goes, which for this video we're just talking about difficulty, I think he was incredibly easy. I think he is actually easier than almost all of these dudes here. Not quite as easy as Ymir and these guys. Like, I beat these guys in like one shot. Here, these ones, yeah, I would say I'd probably put I would actually put him at the highest tier. Let's swap that around. I'd probably put him at the top of the easiest because I think I beat him my second try, and the first try was a little bit, I don't know if I would count it. I didn't have full heals or whatever. I didn't heal at the rest stop that's right outside his door for some reason. I just kind of went in. I don't know if I was expecting it to be a boss fight, and it turned out to be one. But when my first actual try with full everything, yeah, I was able to easily beat him. At least with these ones, most of these ones I all beat first try. Yeah, Dragon Man, both Black Knights first try. Dancer, I think I died to at least once. So we'll put at least Dancer here. Actually, now that I think about it, the Dragon Man I did die more times than Midra. We'll swap that around. There we go. Yeah, this one actually took me a few tries, just because he has that one move that will like insta kill you. Putrescent Knight. I think that this is the other one that I didn't really care too much for. He does like a lot of flippy moves, but for some reason like he just didn't hit me with a lot of those flippy moves. Very hard to read because he launches off his horse hitting you from different angles. So there's like a lot going on, so it's kind of hard to read his movements. And then he has that flame attack, and for the life of me I could not figure out how to dodge, so I ended up just using a shield to tank through it. So I'll adjust these here at the end actually. Radahn difficulty, Radahn is definitely one of the more difficult ones. Definitely harder than Commander Guys. I'm actually gonna put him, and this might be, people might get mad, but I'm actually gonna put him under Mesmer. And like I said, this is just my personal list, and I think, like I said earlier, a lot of this has to do with the times in which I encountered both of these boss. Mesmer I encountered super early, didn't have a lot of Shadow Tree fragments, took me literally like 2 days, a few hours each day to finally beat him. And then whereas Radahn, I was the last boss I faced, I was more or less max Shadow Tree fragments, and I did change my build up a little bit. I ended up doing like the sword and shield type build, and I was able to fight him a little bit easier. Definitely one of the more difficult fights, for sure. But I still beat Radahn in the same night that I encountered him. So I could see him being very difficult. The thing with Radahn is that, like, whenever I lost to Radahn, I would lose in like the first 2 seconds of the boss fight. Whereas in Mesmer, it was more frustrating me because I would get halfway and I would die every time in that second phase. So personally for me, I think Mesmer was a difficult fight. I think on average for most people, they probably would swap these two. But at least for my playthrough, I thought Mesmer was a much more challenging foe than Radahn. Now, the Great Bears. There's 2 Great Bears on here. I only faced one, so I'm not sure which one I faced. I want to say, I mean, they kind of look similar. I would say that it was an average fight. I struggle with the bears much more than the dragons. The bears, I feel like, are just much more aggressive when they attack you and everything. So, but I didn't think it was too hard. Definitely harder than some of these dragon fights here. Did take me a few tries. And then, like I said, I'll put this one here just because I don't remember which one. So I only fought one of them. I'll have to go back and take a look, but I would imagine they're very similar. Same with like the Death Knights. I can't imagine them being too much different. I mean, unless it's like the Divine Beast where it's like one was definitely much harder than the other one. Red Bear, I beat this guy first try. Wasn't too difficult. Renlina, the Twin Moon Knight, I would put her at average. Or actually, no, I think she was more difficult. Now that I think about it, I definitely died to her more times. I think a good spot for her is actually right here. I do think she's more difficult than Metter and these Nightwings. Definitely, yeah, I think that's a good spot for them. I would say above average difficulty. Romania, Saint of Blood, same thing. I'm going to put her at very easy. Or, I shouldn't say very easy, because I did die a few times. I'm going to put right there. I beat this boss like my second or third try. Wasn't super hard. I heard a friend of mine really struggled with this boss. And he had a much harder time. I had like a Mesmer style build, and I did a lot of fire damage, so it wasn't too hard for me. Like I said, I beat it like second or third try. Not hard at all. Shadow Tree Avatar, I hate to admit it, but I died a ton to this fight. So I don't think this fight is hard if you actually are focusing. It does have 3 phases, which is the only boss that has 3 phases, which is nuts. I would expect things like, not even just like 3, like, oh, it comes back at half health. No, it has like 3 like health bars come back at like 75% each time. Whereas in like, you get Mesmer halfway, it does a second phase. But no, like actually like 3 full-on health bars. And not a hard fight, but I did die to it more times than I care to admit. I think that the Shadow Tree Avatar would probably be here. I think that because you do a lot of damage, it's really easy to kind of just get carried away and not really pay attention. But the Shadow Tree Avatar does have quite a few moves that'll basically, I wouldn't say one-shot you, but will definitely take you out in 2 hits for sure. Not a super challenging one, although, like I said, I did die to it more times than I care to admit. The Tree Sentinel ×2 buffed, so these are the 2. I would say that these are average. I actually only died to them once, but that's because in the base game, I died to them hundreds of times. So I kind of knew the moveset, I knew how to beat them. There's even a boss fight in the base game where you do fight 2 of them, so I actually didn't struggle with this one as much. I played this rodeo before, so I knew how it was going to be. I do think that it, as far as challenging goes, I'll put it right here. I'm actually going to yeah, we'll change that at the end. Rashaka, I think he's right up here with Black Gale Knight. I didn't die to him nearly as much, but he does have quite a few moves that will one-shot you, and he's got that reach with the Great Katana, making it quite difficult. And then the last one that we have is Jori, Elder Inquisitor. I would say he's probably average. It did take me a few tries. Main thing is that he summons like a bunch of like summons to help him fight you, which could be overwhelming, especially if you're doing it solo. So I think that he's probably right here. All right, so let me kind of adjust these really quick. We'll do these ones. I never died to once. I beat them all equally first try, so I'll just leave them as is. Second ones, I beat these 2 first try. These ones I beat 2 all first try. That's funny, it's like the Dragon Man, I don't think is super hard, but he has that one move that if you didn't get out of the way, it killed you, and it did kill me quite a few times. I think that order looks good. I think Black Gale Knight is a little bit better than the Dragon, same with this one. Just because it's the same fight that we've seen in the base game with all the, not Placidu sacks. The other ones that are like this, like the black one that's got the 2 wings with a few extra moves. I'll put them, actually, the Tree Sentinels was more difficult, for sure. So Black Gale, Tree Sentinel. What's up, Ezra? Golden Hippo, Inquisitor, Lamenter. I think that the Putrescent Knight's right here. I did die quite a few times to it. Lamenter. Okay, and let's look at this one. I think that's a... the thing is, it's not hard. It's just like doing enough damage. I guess... Yeah, we'll put it like right here, actually. No, we'll leave the Goldems there. They're not hard. They're kind of like those big statue ones. He just does fire damage, and he does a lot. Basically, you gotta hit him in the face enough that he falls down, and then you can do like the visceral on him or whatever. Bale the Dread, I don't think... I would say, like, if we're gonna put him up here, I think he's one of the best fights in the game. But I definitely died more times to these three than I am. I would say harder than everything here, but not quite as hard as up here. Good in-between fight. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for my ultimate ranking of the Shadow of the Erdtree bosses. I'm gonna have to go back and find these other 4. I'm guessing the Falling Star Beast is probably very similar to the base game. Same with the bear. I fought one of the bears, very similar to the base game, just with some added abilities and movesets. Same with like the version of Death Knight. I can't imagine these being too much different than their alternate versions that I did face. So, but I'm gonna go look at them just so I can say that I've fought in everything in the DLC. But yeah, that's gonna be it for my ranking. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought. What was the most difficult boss that you guys faced? And yeah, stay tuned. We might do another ranking of my favorite boss fights, taking into account of how much I enjoyed it, not necessarily difficulty. So if you guys are interested in seeing that, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We do drop videos weekly, as well as we stream on Saturday. And starting this week, I want to start streaming on Wednesday night at 7. So let me know if you guys are interested in either of those, and we'll catch you guys on the next video.